founder and CEO of Praper Media. Now, last financial year, we closed at 8 figures in revenue. But this is not the important number. Can you guys guess, anybody in the audience, what investment did I start it with? 10,000. Okay, any more guesses? Any wild guess? Take a wild guess. 1,60,000. Okay. No. It all started with just 100 rupees and a little bit of courage. See, if at that time somebody had told me that this would lead to a global agency with 75 amazing people, I would have laughed. Because even to this day, it is very hard for me to believe. Because I didn't go to college, I'm not from a big city, I didn't have any mentors or coaches or investors. All I had was one laptop, an internet connection, and YouTube tutorials. But this one thing that I learned very early on in my career has changed everything for me. I learned how to ask, not beg, not demand, but just simply ask. Now, like over the course of my career and seeing hardships in the media industry, I realized this one thing, that you don't get what you deserve, you get what you ask for. And that's the asker's advantage. Now, why don't we ask? So before moving on, I would like to ask you a question. And if the answer is yes, I want you guys to raise your hands. How many of you have rejected yourself before even asking your crush out? Come on. I did it multiple times, right? Come on, I was expecting to see more hands. Everybody is so like brave heart here, right? But we don't just do this in love. We do this in life as well. With our careers, with our jobs, with our dreams, with our ideas. So, why don't we ask? I put this into 3 frameworks. Now, these are the 3 reasons why we don't ask. And I call them the wall, the fog, and the mirror. The wall is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of hearing a no. What we do is, we build a wall around ourselves, protect ourselves from ever hearing that no. Because rejection activates anterior cingulate cortex. Now this is the same part of the brain that also processes physical pain. So rejection almost feels like physical pain, so we try to avoid it. Now fog is assumption. Now this stems from something called illusion of transparency. So what we do is, we assume that the person we are asking from already knows what we need help with. We assume that he already knows what we are looking for. Or we assume that the answer is going to be an automatic no. So we reject ourselves before even asking. And the mirror is ego. Now this is something called ego threat. What we do is, we never really ask because we don't want to come across as needy or weak. We don't want to subject ourselves to judgment from others. So what we do is, we never really ask. But why don't we ask when asking can literally just change our life? Right? Asking can literally open doors that might already be unlocked. What you need is just one last push. And the last time I really had to push through all 3 of these is when I asked my parents to let me skip college. See, coming from Goniana, which is a very small town near Bathinda, a path was already set for me. A lot of my relatives were doctors, so I was set to be a doctor. But by the time I was in 10th, I got really into watching YouTube videos. I was obsessed. I would create my own YouTube videos all night and I would put them out. Please don't check them out, they're very cringy now. And I would dream about working with some of my favorite creators on their videos. And I was also learning about creator economy, how it helps you to build something out of nothing, right? How it helps you to pursue your dreams. So this is what I wanted to do. But then came the most difficult part. I had to ask my parents to let me do this, and convincing middle class parents to let you do video editing in a city like Goniana where nobody even has heard of such a thing like filmmaking. So it was a mountain of a task. But I remembered that if I didn't ask, I'm going to regret it forever. So I gathered up some courage, I sat my parents down and I explained to them and I gave them examples of other people that have done well in this industry. Right? Other people who had made a big name for themselves. All I did was just ask them. And to my surprise, my parents were like, my dad was like, कर ले 2 साल try कर ले, नहीं हुआ तो वापस college चले जाइए. Like you can try it out for 2 years. If it doesn't work out, you go back to college. Between you and me, I was never going to go back to college. This was not happening because I never wanted to do that. But this one ask gave me the opportunity to change the course of my entire life. It gave me the opportunity to go and pursue my dreams. But then, after 2 years, I became a video editor. But then another issue. Lockdown hit. I had no work, no job, and I was stressing about having to go back to college, which was a nightmare for me. But one night, I was watching this YouTuber called Koen. I used to love watching his videos. He had 1 million subscribers back then. But my little brain just couldn't stop thinking about how I could make his videos better. So I thought about, okay, let me reach out to him. But again, that doubt crept in, that folk part, you remember that? That came back. I was like, okay, why would a person with 1 million subscribers listen to a random kid from Goniana? That doubt again crept into my mind. But I remember this one lesson from the parent's story is that I at least have to ask, right? So that's what I did. One night, he was doing a live stream on YouTube. Now, for those of you who don't know, during a YouTube live stream, there was a feature called Super Chat, where viewers like me can pay a certain amount to have their message shown at the top. And that's exactly what I did. I typed in a message, paid 100 rupees, and sent this message. Hi Jabi, I am a video editor. If you need one, let me know. This is my Instagram handle, and I showed that I love their videos. And to my surprise, he didn't only just check out my Instagram right there, he said that he would reach out. And after a few days, I got a test project from them, that turned into a second project, and that turned into a full-time gig. Now see how just asking 100 rupees and a little bit of courage changed the course of my entire life. Jabi is still one of our biggest clients. And after a couple of months, the editor that I had hired left me without any notice. He was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm leaving. And I was left with a pile of work that I had to get through. I couldn't just tell my clients that my editor left and I can't get this done. So I thought about reaching out to my friends, but they had their own promising careers. Why would they come and help me in my small venture? But then I remember this one junior that I had in school, St. Xavier's Bathinda. That was also into video editing, but we had not spoken for a while. His name is Jatin. But then again, by now I'm in the habit of asking, well, okay, let me just ask him. So when I told him the situation that I am in, he was like, okay, Pratham, I don't have internet at home, but you send over the files, I'll manage something. And at the end of the day, he got a project back to me. Made a mess of it, but that's alright. And I asked him how did he get it done, how did he download the files. He was like, I know the Wi-Fi password of a cafe nearby. I went there, downloaded the files and got the project done. And I saw a huge spark there. I was like, okay, this was definitely up to something, right? And Jatin today is the COO at Praper, and he is one of the most crucial members of our team. Now through this, I realized that all this while I wasn't just building a company, I was building a community. I was collaborating in its true sense. And that's like, see, Jabby, my parents, and Jatin should have rejected me, right? But they did not. And that is exactly what I mean when I say asking is the unfair advantage. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you ask for. Now, optimizing our ask. Do all ask work the same? Can you just ask for anything and get it? Not really, right? So I recognized that there are 3 filters that an ask has to go through every person's mind. Like if you're asking for something, in the other person's mind, it has to go through 3 filters. Now the best ask makes the other person feel understood. Now you don't just have to push your agenda, you have to also meet the other person where they are. Now my ask with my parents worked because I didn't just say that I want to be a video editor and let me do this. I said, here are other people that are doing well in this industry with a similar skill set, right? And I assured them that I'll go back to college if this doesn't work out. Because their concern was not why video editing or why this field. Their concern was, will Pratham be okay? Will he make enough for himself? So I met them where they are. I gave them that knowledge. Now the best ask gives the other person a reason to say yes. Now believe it or not, people want to say yes to you. You just have to give them a reason. You have to show that you're enthusiastic. You have to show that you're ready to grab the opportunity with both hands. You have to show that you're prepared. Now, I realized that my ask for Jabby worked because I made these 2 things very clear. Number 1 was why me? Out of all the people that he could work with, why would he work with me? So I showed that I am a fan, I understood his work, and I am enthusiastic about it through the message that I sent, if you remember that message. And the second question that I answered for him was proof of work. I showed him my Instagram where he could go and check out my work, so he already had a proof of work ready. Now I made the ask very clear for him. Now the best ask cuts the confusion. Now again to the Jabby story. My ask worked because I was very specific about my ask. A lot of people message me on LinkedIn saying, Pratham, we would love to connect. And I'm like, why do you want to connect with me? What do you want from me? There has to be some specificity in that. So my ask for Jabby worked because I was very specific in my message. I said, if you remember that, I'm a video editor, here's my Instagram if you ever need one. And that is why the message was really clear for him. It makes his job really easy that he now knows the next step that he has to take is that to check out my Instagram. Now, every leap that I've ever taken, whether it's collaborating with people smarter than me, or like getting people onto my company, right? Everything, or starting something new, everything that I've ever done has all started with a simple ask, right? An ask to my parents, an ask to Jerry, an ask to Jatin, an ask to 75 other people that have joined our team. So, the next time you're about to reject yourself, remember this. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you ask for. Repeat after me. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you ask for. And maybe all your college crush needs is a chance to say yes. Thank you guys, you have been a lovely audience.